Hiya! Whew. Yes. So today I am going to bring to you the books that I find intimidating. And what does that mean? A book can be intimidating in many ways. It can be intimidating because it is too long. It can be intimidating because it is difficult to read. It can be intimidating because you have high expectations for it and you're really afraid it's not gonna meet them. So there are really a big, huge range of things that can make a book be intimidating, but I think mine are more on the length and difficulty to read type book. So we're gonna start with a lengthy one. The Letters of Sylvia Plath, Volume 1. This is Bible pages. I'm just gonna check real quick how many pages this is. Okay, so 1,387. I am obsessed with Sylvia Plath. I've read her poems, her poetry, The Bell Jar. I've read the unabridged journals, and I've just felt this kinship with her that I haven't felt with any other writer, and I want to know more and more and more about her life, so that's why I bought this book. I did not expect it to be this huge. Apparently she wrote a lot of letters. The next book is What Paintings Say by, doesn't say, Rosemary and Rainer Hagen. So it's 100 masterpieces in detail. So this is actually such an interesting book. It goes from like ancient Egypt to modern day, showing you masterpieces and talking you about in detail about those pieces, about the author of the pieces and what the piece is about. It's actually really interesting, but it's a commitment to read it. I've actually been reading it for some time and I'm still here. Like sometime like a year, I think. So you get like this. I'm in this page. So you get the painting they're gonna talk about, and you get the details. So they speak about the details of the painting. And that's basically it. And it's really interesting. It's something I really aim to finish. And I even put on my bullet journal like one painting a day, so that I could finish this soon. At least one painting a day to read so that I can finish this. And then when I read a painting, I like make a check. So I read a painting. The next book, I have no idea what it is about. I've literally read so many reviews on Goodreads about this book, and I still don't know what it is about. And I bought it because many of the reviewers that I follow and are my friends on Goodreads hold this book in high esteem and say that it's a classic. So 2666 by Roberto Bolaño. I don't know what it is about. I know that it's like a modern Ulysses and that it's hard to read like Ulysses. I'm gonna tell you what is in here, so maybe we can have some idea what it is about. 3 academics on the trail of a reclusive German author, a New Yorker reporter on his first Mexican assignment, a widower philosopher, a police detective in love with an elusive older woman. These are among the searchers drawn to the border city of Santa Teresa, where over the course of a decade, hundreds of women have disappeared. Okay, so this makes me both more interested and confused. Yeah. Next is I think one that is on most people's intimidating lists of reads, and it's Infinite Jest by William Foster Wallace. It's a book about people who are on a house for recovering addicts, and they are in search for this movie called Infinite Jest that will make you die of bliss if you watch it. And it's also I'm told a very difficult to understand book and difficult to read and extremely large. The next one is David Copperfield by Charles Dickens, and I just put this one because it's one of the biggest ones I have by Charles Dickens, and I've read only one of his books, Great Expectations, and it was really good. But seeing that it's a classic, and classics are not always easy reads, and this is like a chunky one, I thought I put in David Copperfield as one of the options. So I don't know how to pronounce this, but in my language, Portuguese, we call this Don Quixote. Don Quixote? I don't know. So yeah, this is another one that people say it's not a fly-through read. It's not that chunky, but it's chunky, and it's another one that I'm intimidated by. Then we come to this brick, Les Miserables. Just, oh my god. I don't know if I actually truly don't know if I'm ever gonna get to this. As I'm getting older, I'm fixating more on books that I really want to read, and I bought this because it's a classic and I found it at a really good price with this really good edition, but I'm not really sure I want to read it. But it's really tempting. It is really tempting, and I thought I would put it on this list because just look at it. Next is The Sound and the Fury by William Faulkner, another book that I don't know anything about. This one is the copy by Folio Edition, which is just marvelous, and it is color coded with the years it's been written in, because as I'm told, it's like one paragraph it's in a year and then another paragraph it's in another year, so it gets color coded like this. So you see, here is a color, then it's another color, then it's another color. So I heard somewhere that this is the way the author actually wanted his piece to be read, but of course it's not easy to print books in color. It's a lot more expensive, but another chunky book Another one that it's gonna be a commitment, I'm sure. Okay, so on Goodreads, the book description for The Sound of the Fury, it says, the tragedy of the Compson family features some of the most memorable characters in literature. Beautiful, rebellious Caddy, the man-child Benji, haunted, neurotic Quentin, Jason, the brutal cynic, and Dilsey, the black servant. Their lives fragmented and harrowed by history and legacy. The characters' voices and actions meshed to create what is arguably Faulkner's masterpiece and one of the greatest novels of the 20th century. So there you go. These are always the greatest novels of the 20th century. And I'm like, I have to read them. Next one is this tiny little book called The Waves by Virginia Woolf. The reason why this book is here is because I love Virginia Woolf and I've read some of her books and I've enjoyed them immensely, but this book I can't seem to understand, and it makes me feel so dumb. And I admit I haven't tried it in like 5 years, but my cat wants to get inside the door, but it's like just dialogue, like Lewis says this, then Celia says this, then Percival says this, then Ginny says that, then Neville says this, then Rhoda says that, and I'm like, what is going on? I don't get it. I don't understand it, and this is one of my, like, I'm gonna read this little tiny piece of literature and I'm gonna understand it, and I'm gonna tame this beast one day. And last but not least, Ulysses by James Joyce. Yeah, the ultimate intimidating read for book sleuths. It's Ulysses. It's called one of the greatest pieces of literature in the 20th century also. It's about a day in the life of a man in Dublin, but it's giant and also difficult to understand, written in a way that it's not very clear. I don't know much about it either. I have this thing where I don't like knowing much about books before I read them, but Ulysses, every time I read a description of it, it just says that it's one of the greatest pieces of literature and it's a day in the life of Dubliners. So that's what we get, and people either love it or hate it, and that's it. Those are the books that I find most intimidating in my shelves, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're intimidated as much as I am, and hopefully one day I get to say I read all of these books. Can you imagine? I mean, before there were other 2 books that were in this list, which were Anna Karenina and War and Peace by Tolstoy, but I got to read both of them and they are my favorites. Like Anna Karenina is on top 3 and War and Peace definitely top 15, top 20. They're amazing, they're perfect. So I finished that line. I'm sure I can finish these other lines. I hope you have a great day, an awesome week, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.